Hi, okay, we're going to look at doing percentage of. So percentage of an amount. Right, I'm just going to reduce myself. And again, there you go. Number one, I have 25% of 100. Okay. 25% is the same as saying 25 divided by 100 or 25 out of 100 or 25 hundredths of, we're going to multiply 100. And then because it's 100 wholes, we can divide by 1. And then we can do 25 times 100, which is 2500, 2500, divided by 100 times 1, which is 100. If we divide 2500 by 100, we end up with 25 divided by 1, which is 25, which is a bit strange because we've got 25% of 100, but because it's out of 100. If we show it in a different way, we can do 10% of 100, which is 10. So 20% is going to be another 10%, which is 20. And 5% is half of the 10%, which is 5. And we want 25%, so that equals 25. So when you've got it, it's sort of, you're used to having different amounts, but because we're working with 100, it feels a bit weird doing those. So I just wanted to do it straight away to get it out there. Okay. Number two, 60% of £80. So there's different ways we can do these. I probably like to do 50% and 10%. And then because 50% plus 10% is 60%, then that's how I probably prefer to do it. So 50% or half of £80 is £40. And 10% of £80, we're dividing by 10 because 10% is 1/10. Remember, 10% is the same as saying 10 hundredths. And we can divide the top and bottom by 10, which is 1/10. Just put that out. Okay, so 10% of £80 is £8. So 50% plus 10% is 60%. £40 plus £8 is £48. So this is equal to £48. Okay, let's do number 3. Now let's choose black. 10% of 30. Okay. 10%, as I said before, is 10 hundredths. And if we divide the top and bottom by 10, we've got 1/10. So we're finding 1/10 of 30, 1 part out of 10. So when we're finding 1 part out of 10, we're dividing by 10. So that's 3. Let's look at number 4. So number 4, 25% of 50, £50. Do you remember what 25% is as a fraction? It's a quarter. So we could find a quarter of 50, so we could half and half again, or we could find 50% and half it to make 25%, or we could find 10% and another 10% and a 5% and put them together. This time I'm going to actually find 50%. So 50% of £50 is half, which is £25. So what I've got to do is I've got to divide 50% by 2 to make 25%. So now 25% of £50 means I've got to divide, oh, not times. I've got to divide this by 2 now. So let's do, just in case we're not sure, let's divide £25 by 2. So how many 2's fit into 2? 1. How many 2's fit into 5? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, carry 1 is 5. How many 2's fit into 10? 5 times 2 is 10. So, because it's money, we're not going to be 12.5. Not going to put 12.5, we're going to put £12.50, and that's your answer. Okay, what are we on now? Okay, there we are, number 5. So I'm looking at my little worksheet. 55% of 80. Okay, so I'm going to find 50% first. I'm going to find 10%. And I'm going to find 5%. So 50% is half, and half of 80 is 40. So I'm going to put equals 40 plus, and I need to know 5%. I need to know that one, and I need to know that one. I don't need to know the 10. The 10 is just there to help me. 10% of 80, I divide by 10, so that's 8. But to get 10 to be 5, I have to divide by 2. So I've got to divide 8 by 2, and that makes 4. So 40 plus 4 is 44, and that's my answer. And number 6, we are doing 62% of £100. So 62 hundredths of 100. Again, we've sort of got something a bit strange here. And of means times, doesn't it? Top times top. Bottom times bottom. Divide by 100. And then we've got 62 over 1, which equals 62. So it's £62. Let's do number 7. All right, 74% of 38. Okay. Now 74% is very close to 75%. So I could find a half, then a quarter. So I think I'm going to do that. So let's find 50%. We'll find 25%. And we'll find 1%. Because 50% plus 25% is 75%. So I'm going to add those, and I'm going to take away that one to make 74%. So 50% is half. So half of 38, and I'm going to put 30 and 8, and I'm going to split them. So that's 4 plus 4 and 15 plus 15. So half is going to be half of 30 plus half of 8. So that's 19. Right, I've got to half that again to make 25%. So 19 divided by 2. How many 2's in 1? Carry. How many 2's fit into 19? Well, 9 times 2 is 18, and that's one more is 19. So it's 9.5. All right, what's 1% of 38? 1%. So we have to divide by 100, don't we? Because 1/100th, we're finding 1/100th, one part out of 100. So I've got to do 38 divided by 100. Right, so let me set it up on the place value, sort of a line. And then we've got these zeros either side. And then I've got to divide it by 100, which is 2 lots of 10. So the 8 goes to there. And then change the colour. And then the 3 goes here. And I fill everything in. So 1% is 0.38. So I've got to add 19 plus 9.5. Let's do that first. 2 9s are 18, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's 28 is 28.5. But I've got to take away 0.38 from that. So let's put it down here. 28.5 take away 0.38. Okay, that feels really uncomfortable, so I'm going to put a 0 as a placeholder here. So cross out the 5, turn it into a 4, carry 1. 10 take away 8 is 2. 4 take away 3 is 1, put in my decimal point. 8 take away 0 is 8. 2 take away, yeah. So we've got the answer is, I was going to put money then, but it's not. 28.12. Is that right? Yes. It's always nice when it's right, isn't it? Okay. So we are on number 8. 15% of 42. Well, 10% of 42 divided by 10 is 4.2. So 5% is half of that, which is 2.1. So 15% is going to be 6.3 because we put them together. Okay, let's go on to number 9 then. Oh, pages are going everywhere. All right, so 85%. There we are. 85% of 22. Just going to change the colours. Quite like that one. Number 9. 85% of 22. Right, because it's close to 100% and 100% of 22 is 22. 100% is the whole thing, isn't it? 100%, remember, means 100 hundredths. 100 hundredths is the whole thing. We are looking for the whole thing, but the difference between, so 100% take away 85% equals 85, 95, right, 15%. So if I find 15%, I can take 15% away from 22, the answer to 15% away from 22, and that give me the answer. So I need to find 10% and I need to find 5%. 10% of 22, I divide by 10 is 2.2. And then we need to half to find 5%. Half of 2.2 is 1.1. So 15% is 2.2 plus 1.1, which is 3.3. So if 100% is 22 and 15% is 3.3, 100% take away 85% is 15%. Then that also means that 100% take away 15% equals 85%. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 22 take away 3.3. I'm going to put my decimal point in my placeholder. 10 subtract 3. 10 take away 3 is 7. We've got a 1 there. I want a bigger number to take 3 away from. So 11 take away 3 is 8. So our answer is 18.7. Okay, what are we on now? Got number 10. We've got 10, 11, 12. We've got 3 more questions left. But we are going to, right, let me just go on to number 10. Let's do, oh, I've got 42% of 19. Now you'll like these because we're going to use the calculator. So 42% is the same as saying 42 hundredths, isn't it? And 42, and remember that line means divided by, so that means 42 divided by 100. So that means 42, that was really messy. So I like doing it this way. 42 with some zeros that way, it's still messy. That was better. So we're going to divide the number by 100. That's where the 2 goes. And then, why have I got 2 blues? I have an orange. And my 4 goes there. So 42 divided by 100 is 0.42. Now you're thinking, why does she want to know that? Well, I can type into the calculator 0.42 multiplied by 19. And that's going to give us the answer. So let me just pop it in. You could use the fraction key. That's also absolutely fine. So 0.42 multiplied by 19 is 7.98, and that is your answer. You've just worked out 42% of 19 and it's 7.98. All right, let's do 2 more on the calculator because you've done lots of hard work. Why not have a little bit of a break? What percent? Okay, right. Actually, this is going to be a little bit. What percentage of £84, and we'll do this on the calculator, of £84 is £63? This is one of those that makes your head go a bit, what do you mean? Of £84 means the 84 goes at the bottom because that's your total. What percentage of £84? 84. It's like what percentage of the audience? And there's 452 people in the audience. So that is your denominator because that is your total number of people in the audience. What percentage of sausage rolls, vegan or not? And say there's 52 sausage rolls. Okay, so 52 is your denominator. That's your total. Here, our total is £84. What percentage of £84 is £63? 63 is your numerator because it's the part. That's your part, and that's your whole. So you can write it like that. Now, do on your calculator 63 divided by 84. Give me the answer. I know I won't be able to hear it, but you can shout. 63 divided by, let's make it tidy at least. So let's do 63 divided by 84 is 0.75 now. Isn't that good? But it says what percentage. Now percentages are just 100 times a decimal. So we're just multiplying that by 100 and we've got 75%. Takes a bit of thinking about this one, but that's what it is. Okay, so last one and then you're done. So what percentage of, I'm going to put percentage of 26 is 7.8 of 26. 26 is your total. 7.8 is the part. 7.8 goes at the top. Do remember that line means divided by. So you pop it into a calculator. See, these are very strange arrows, aren't they? You put 7.8 divided by 26 equals, and then whatever you pop out there to make it into a percentage U times by 100. So let's do that. 7.8 divided by 26 equals times by 100 is 30%. Okay, so what was it before that? History. It was 0.3, wasn't it? Because that times by 100 is 30. So it's 30%. So we can say that 7.8 is 30% of 26. That's it. That's it. You've been fantastic. And let's put that like that, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a lovely rest of the day, and thank you so much for joining me again. Bye.